which is the promoting clean practices and reducing air pollution in my community. Knowing that South Phoenix is one of the communities that is most impacted by air pollution.
Maybe.
And so one of the things that we recently had was a cleanup. We actually just did a community cleanup at Sound Lake with our one and only Bernard Hall. And then one of the things that we're working on this year, we're actually working to provide direct service to our community. Knowing that with Donald Trump's administration and our legislature in Minnesota, that our communities are in need. We know that our community is in crisis, and so we want to be proactive instead of reactive and making sure that we have the resources necessary to live sustainable lives. I'm good. Okay. Next, we have our topic.
This one?
One of our programs that is needed here tonight, that is a two-day summit. It's nonpartisan for individuals interested in more. We have the Uplift Us Coalition, so folks that are focused on Black-owned businesses, how to support Black-owned businesses or be a part of Black-owned businesses, creating a space for cross collaboration and for thought. And then we have our regional Lewis Fellowship, which is for Black-owned businesses, giving them access. That want to run for state, local, and federal office in 2026 and 2028, giving them the training and the resources necessary to be able to run a sustainable campaign and hold office in a sustainable manner.
National spotlight is
or women, because we know oftentimes they say that Black women have to run like 4 or 5 times before they win that public office, so making sure that that's not the case. They win the first time. And then one of the other programs that I lead is Civic Scholars, and it's essentially creating a sustainable pipeline for young BIPOC to be part of the community. We are building young leaders up. For those that want to run for public office, that want to be a leader in the community, that may for the years, but thought about running, go for it. We need new, diverse, different voices amongst us, and I really would encourage us to represent, consider it or not. I'm going to go over the okay. Welcome. We are at our last meeting. I made an announcement that Joe, our treasurer, is leaving the LD13. So we have to elect the treasurer, and Jeff was my at-large board member. He is also leaving. So we, elect another our board member. So, the treasurer is responsible for maintaining the financial records, file financial reports. He, is pretty much everything from securities from LD12 to DC out of jail.
Microphone.
And
Unmute Zoom on the mic.
We have it set up.
Is it unmuted?
Thank you. Right,
Is that one unmuted?
Responsibilities, manage oversee of 12 committees, teams, events, texting, platforms, anything, that the executive board needs help with. Okay? Next slide. The rules. All right, the election of the treasurer will be first, followed by the at large. I will call for nominations. Candidate must be a current LD12 PC.
Zoom.
I will close the
Miriam,
nominations. I'm
open
calling
Zoom.
friends.
See if the mic.
Nominator, so if somebody is nominating you, you get 1 minute. If you are self-nominated, go directly to number B or letter B. You'll get 2 minutes to give a speech. Nominees will
Just in
give
order of
speeches.
nominations.
That's it.
If there is only one candidate, a vote by acclamation will be done. This has to be done by elected PCs or appointed PCs at this time. If there are two candidates, the winner must have a majority vote of the PCs. If there are more than one candidate, you're going to get a ballot anyways, because we have other stuff on there that we'll talk about later. So all PCs will get a ballot about an hour after this meeting closes. We're going to give you 72 hours to vote. Again, this is only for elected and appointed PCs are eligible to vote at this time. I am going to open the floor. Are there any nominations for treasurer? Yes, come on up.
Mark Hollendeck.
Mark, do you accept? Where are you? Oh, Mark, you accept. Are there any other nominations for treasurer? It is really not that scary of a job. Yes.
Hi, my name is Deanna and I nominate myself for treasurer.
Excellent. Okay. Is there any other nominations for treasurer? Okay. Seeing none, I will go ahead and close the nominations. Do I have a motion to close? Thank you. Thank you. I don't think I need a second for closing, do I? I don't know. Okay. All right. Nominations are closed. We will go ahead and if you have somebody that's going to nominate you, you'll go ahead and you'll get 1 minute for that nomination. Sherry's going to come over here and take the seat, the timing seat. We do have a timer because we're going to try to stay on time. I understand. I know the people on Zoom are texting everybody in this room. I gave up my phone. I cannot see it anymore. We are desperately trying to get it fixed. And we will do the best we can. So, all right.
Hello, I'm nominating Mark. Mark has a lifetime career in accounting and finance. He also has the integrity and attention to detail that is required to ensure that the district financial records are compliant with campaign finance reporting. He has supported Democratic candidates by hosting multiple fundraisers and house parties. Many of you have been at his grassroots postcard Get Out the Vote projects. He was an integral reason of why we had a successful LD12 neighbor-to-neighbor letter campaign. He has once again this year opened his house to hosting the holiday party this year. I think we can't go wrong with Mark.
Yeah, she's self-nominating. Okay. All right. So then Mark and is it Deanna? Perfect. Deanna, what city are you from? Tempe, and you are a PC, correct? Hold, please. Not a point. Not today. Okay. So that was my mistake. I should have done that before. That was my mistake. My bad on people. I made a mistake. Okay, I'm owning up to it. Deanna is not a PC yet, so she cannot hold a position on the executive board. But what we can do is we can appoint you, and then as the chair, I am able to appoint additional at-large board members at any point during this. So we can always have that conversation, because I always like getting people involved when they want to get involved. So I'm going to take advantage of it. Okay, so Mark. So therefore, we only have one nomination for the treasurer this time. But I do want to make sure, is there any other nominations for the treasurer? I already closed. He did accept. I already closed. I'm sorry. Mark accepted. So I need a motion from the floor from a PC. We already closed. We want to do a vote by acclamation. Okay, so repeat. Okay, Chris says that she would like to make a motion to vote Mark in by acclamation for the treasurer. Nick is seconding. All in favor? Anybody oppose? Thank you. Duly noted. But motion passes. Congratulations, Mark. You don't need to speak. We're running out of time, so I'll let you speak next time when we don't have. Yeah, go take your spot at the table. Hey, if you guys would like to make a donation to the Bada Bing, see Mark, our new treasurer. Oh, here. Somebody made a donation earlier. Here you go. There's some money. All right, welcome, Mark, to the team. What a way to join. Okay. At-large board member, this position is taking Jeff's spot. And remember, the chair can add more at-large board members. I just have to give the PCs 30 days notice. So I'm going to open the floor for nominations of at-large board member. Okay, Dr. Janie Heydrich nominates Paul Weick. Paul Weick, do you accept? Paul Weick accepts. Is there any other nominations? Nicole Miller. Okay, Nicole is nominating AJ. AJ, do you accept? All right, is there any other nominations? Is there any other nominations for at-large board member of LD12? Is there any other nominations for at-large board member for LD12? Okay, do I have a motion to close? So moved. All right. All right, motion or the nominations for at-large board member has closed. If you have somebody here that is going to be speaking, Dr. Janie Heydrich and Nicole Miller, you're going to come up here. And you guys get 1 minute. Come on up. She will go first because she nominated first.
It's my honor and delight to nominate Paul Weick for the position of LD12 member at large. I think I got through that. For decades, Paul has been an active contributing member and even a candidate in what is now LD12. He has organized, advocated, and championed democratic values in and out of our courts for his entire career. Paul knows and shares the needs and desires of our social and political community. And very importantly, Paul, as did Jeff Tucker, has a mind and skill for detail, for word and phrase nitpicking. So Paul would not only bring commitment, lifelong passion, and a wide range of skills to this position, he would also most definitely be filling the gap that Jeff left for a documents nitpicker. In the next 2-year election cycle, Paul will hit the ground running with the experience and focus that LD12 needs to continue being the flagship of Arizona LDs. Thank you.
Oh, I have one. Nicole gave it to me. Hi, good evening. I'm Nicole Miller. I am an elected PC in Wagoner Precinct. I nominated Ajlan AJ Cordolu for this at-large position because I think that he is a great bridge between our sister district, LD13 and LD12, with whom we organize a lot. AJ is also, I mean, you all know AJ. AJ is a first generation American. He's a small business owner. He is like everyone's favorite neighbor. Everyone knows AJ. Everyone has like a fond relationship with AJ. AJ builds bridges with people, and I really want to encourage that. I think it's really important as a district that we continue to build relationships with all of the districts that are surrounding us, and I think AJ can do that. AJ has also run for other offices and he has experience. He knows the inner and outer workings of running for office, and I think that he just brings a perspective that is needed. So vote for AJ, please.
Thank you very much. All right, thank you very much. Paul Weick, you can come up here. You get 2 minutes, and then AJ, you'll be next.
Thank you. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Janie and AJ. I love AJ, and AJ and I have worked together. We've worked against each other. We've run against each other, but I love AJ. But it's not karaoke night yet, but how many of you remember this classic? I'm not Jeffrey, my name is Paul, but Jeff left us years ago. Anyway, yeah, okay, well, I bring that up for 3 reasons. 1, I'm old. 2, I'm old and I have a lot of experience in this district, having been chair of this district many years ago, et cetera. I've been able to have been active, you know, while the kids were growing up. Now the kids are out of the house, I'm more active. And number 3, I'm not only old and I'm not only active for a long time in this district, but I can say with some authority because of that, that I know that Jeff is going to be a lock in the LD12 Dems Hall of Fame. And I'm very happy that Jeff and Joe are moving over to LD13 because Jeff and I worked together on the redistricting a few years ago, and we wanted to make LD13 successful for Democrats. And now we know that they're going to go over there, especially if J.D. Mesnard is stepping aside. So my goal is to be almost as great as Jeff has been as member at large for our executive board. And I'm running because I love 2 things, a good challenge, helping our LD get better, and helping Democrats get better. Jeff is always coming up with new ideas and working his butt off to put them into action. I'm going to be doing that too, to help Democrats, to make our bylaws and policies and programs, everything better and more transparent, to add PCs, new active Dems, use our communications platforms, and to fill in wherever I'm needed. So please vote for me, Paul Weick, and I won't do my other karaoke that I had planned to do. AJ. Sir? Thank you.
Hello, dear friends, amazing LD12 Dem.
We can't hear AJ.
An engineer, a family man, and a proud immigrant and a first-generation American. If you give me the honor to serve you on your board, I'd like to continue the work that we started a few years back to make sure that our City Chandler, our LD, and East Valley Democrats, we want to turn everything bluer in our neighborhoods. The community that we started to build a few years back is growing, and still we have work to do. I will make sure that our LD participate to every single event in Chandler. First one is coming up for our city, an activity that we get together and we basically beautify a neighborhood. We're gonna do that. And also I will continue to host our Chandler volunteers every month on at my place actually. And together with Chandler City Leads, Scotty and Craig, we will coordinate to work with the East Valley Democrats with LD 13 and 14. I just want to say that for me, for all of us, actually, these are troubling times for our country, for our state, our people. I feel like our rights, our chance to live in peace, our chance to get a good education, our livelihoods are under threat. Our lives will get more challenging for every single one of us, but I feel like, especially someone like me, an immigrant, it will get harder. So it is time for us to get more active. It is time to work even harder, and it is time to show up everywhere to make sure that they understand that we are not going to be pushed around. So my name is AJ. I hope to serve you on your executive board. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, thank you. So an email will go out after the end of the meeting, about an hour afterwards. Jeff is going to help us get this one last thing set up, because there's also, so we won't be voting on a treasurer. We're just going to be voting on the at-large board member. The next slide. I got a request. The director of special projects at the Maricopa County Recorder's Office reached out to me. They wanted to know if we would like to have Recorder Heap, who is a Republican, attend our upcoming meeting to give us an update on the Recorder's Office and allowing for Q&A. Just wanted to make sure you guys got that part. PCs will get a chance to say, do you want to have him here or don't you? So one of the questions on that, your vote will be, do you want to allow him to speak and have time for Q&A, or do we just want to say no thanks? The executive board is split on this because we thought, ooh, Q&A might be fun, but then we thought, no, we really don't want to hear anything he has to say. But some of the ways that we can get our message out is by making sure that we get heard. And look at this group. This is one that will be heard. Next slide. Nicole.
I just want to say I would love to see LD12 take him to task on those 245,000 purged votes or voters. So just saying. Okay, so state committee meeting. How many people were able to attend state committee on January 18th? Yes, January 18th. How many people think that was one of the best meetings that showed democracy in process? How many people felt like democracy happened that day? So what we learned at that meeting is that the Democrats in the state of Arizona want to go a different direction. So sometimes status quo works, and sometimes we just need a change. And if you were not at that meeting, I mean, there were some things that happened that we did not see, we haven't seen in a very, very long time, with someone stepping aside and her votes going to another person who ended up winning the election. And it's not that our prior board, state board, was a horrible board or any of that. All I'm saying is that the voters chose a different direction, and that is okay. That's why we're Democrats. That's what we do. And so we had LD12 represented big time. We were there. We had a whole section and a sign, right? We had a nice little sign. Wait, the little blue towels were there, and we had popcorn, and you can turn the timer off of me, please. Sorry. Sorry. I'm just saying. But we had 92% attendance at the state committee meeting, which is awesome. We were 12% of the entire state committee. We LD12, we voted our hearts, and we voted a new chair, Robert Branscombe, who's going to be our chair. And so you'll see the new list, and our very own Melissa Galarza was voted as vice chair. I think Melissa was scared to do this at first, but a lot of us in this room talked her into doing it because we know that she is going to bring her voice and her ideas from LD12 to the state committee or to the state. And we know we're going to hold those people accountable if the work is not done, just like we did at that meeting on January 18th. So you can see the new board is here. I think they've had some meetings, and so they are getting things underway. And I'm looking forward to, with everything that's happening with Donald Trump, it pains me to say our president, it does, and everything that he wants to take away, all the rights that he wants to take away, and the division that's been caused in this country, we don't need that in our state. We have a lot of work to do. We don't need that in our LD. We have a lot of work to do. And I'm so proud to be a part of this LD because everybody that I am aware of has done such a great job of working together, holding each other up, voting for each other, not tearing each other down, and we want to see that continue. We do not need division within our party in any area in this particular state. So we need everybody who is willing and able to come out, get the work done. We have 2 years to flip the House and everything here in Arizona, so we got to do our part. That being said, we have Luis Heredia. Did I say your name, Luis? Where are you? Heredia. Come on up, Luis. He's part of the Democratic National Committee, right? And you're going to give us an update on what's happening with the party.
Thank you, Nicole. Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, over here. So really quick, I wanted to provide a quick update. The DNC held their elections. We had our state committee elections about a month ago, and then the DNC on February 1st elected a new Democratic National Committee Democratic National Committee chairperson, Ken Martin, the DFL, Minnesota State Party Chair, who was also the president of the Association of State Party Chairs for about 10 years, got elected. The main contender was Ben Winkler, who was also running. He was the chair of Wisconsin, and he had organized a state that was trending Scott Walker, if you remember, and all the attacks he had in that particular state. And then there was a different tone, and now they have a Democratic governor, and in Wisconsin, they are challenging the state Supreme Court. If there is an election you want to pay attention to in April, that Supreme Court will then guide how redistricting is done in Wisconsin, and also the future of elections, because though they have a Democratic governor, the push in that district in that state is all hands on deck against the Democrats. So even Elon Musk started targeting Wisconsin because of that Supreme Court. So with Ken Martin just being elected, I have really limited time, but I have a lot of slides that I like to share as my, I am not, you would equate me to be the status quo, but I came into the Democratic Party without any connection because my parents were immigrants. They were farm workers out of Yuma County. I walked into the Yuma County Democratic Party at 16 and have been committed to the Democratic Party in Arizona my entire life. I've worked for Congressman Grijalva. I'm the state director for Senator Mark Kelly. I ran the election for Kate Gallego for mayor. I helped with the elections and the re-election of Mark Kelly, and have been a part of just different capacities. I was executive director of the Arizona Democratic Party during 2009 to 2012. But, I want to share just just if you could quick really fast, because I'm going to share this, just the goal of a party in general is understanding what the lanes we all have, and understanding what the DNC actually does for the party. For example, what does it do for LD12? If we look at the investments that we have in the voter file, I come from an era that the voter file did not exist. There was a spreadsheet that was given to people every single 2 years, and then it was combined. The amount of it is millions of dollars are invested in the voter file nationwide, and the platform that you use, Vote Builder, for example, it's gone from an evolution of very, very, very clunky to actually getting better every cycle of trying to get you the voter information. So the party does a lot of that. Is there another slide before that? Because that was, nope, before? Nope, there was another slide that I sent out, but that's fine. I'll just go very quick and then answer some quick questions. I'll share, because the importance of the party is also when we actually do the coordinated campaign. There's a lot of misinterpretations of a coordinated campaign. If you go on the next slide, you'll see that the Democratic Party usually establishes what is a coordination of all candidates. And it tries to do a lot. Sometimes it fails miserably because it sinks at its own weight. But I just want to give you perspective of what's behind that. Next slide. If you could see on the coordinated campaign, the people who sit in the coordination of everything is all the staff of the Democratic Party at the state level, all the national committees from the DNC to the Democratic Legislative Campaign Committee to the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee to the Congressional Campaign Committees. These are dollars that come into one pot of money into the state, and then it is coordinated to either hire hired field staff or invest more dollars into the voter file or hire more mail that gets sent out or digital ads. And there is a lot. The problem sometimes is that there is already the person that brings that money has a predetermined use of that money, and sometimes it's not being used in the most effective way. But that's why I want to kind of get into this conversation, how to get our campaigns in 2026 much more targeted, where your voices and folks that are actually doing the work on the ground and knocking on doors are understanding all the moving parts. So next slide, as you can see, all the unions, next slide. I'll share the things, but what our voice, our vote, what just presented is also something that I want to communicate, but because we have a brand, like a very new progressive structure in our state, that it takes everybody working in a very coordinated way. And like I said, the next slide, we have partisan goals. You have the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee, Arizona list, Emily's list, the Democratic Association of Secretaries, the Democratic Attorney Generals, the Democratic Governors Association. All those organizations are going to play in Arizona because we want to win and reelect our governor. We want to reelect our Secretary of State, and we want to keep our Attorney General. And so all those national committees are going to have a voice in the way that we run our campaigns, but they also bring resources. We have organizations that are out there that are either unions or they're political operations. They've morphed. I haven't deleted Arizona Wins because they have morphed into the America Votes table, which I have a logo there. The next slide kind of shows all the different organizations. We talked about C3s and C4s. Those are like organizations, nonprofits that are able to get charitable contributions if you're C3, but they're limited in what they could use that money. They could use it for public education, they could use it to message, but they can't use it to tell you how to vote. For example, a C4 organization also gets some money, but it can give you a lot more actions to call your senator or take some more like persuasive action, but they're also limited in the amount of communication. Then these organizations oftentimes get to PACs. So moving forward, hit it. I also want to just understand that there are indivisible, for example, in our office, 400, I don't know who participated in any of the rallies or protests this week. If you could raise your hand with Indivisible. So Indivisible, if you visit their website, anybody could basically organize an action. Indivisible, it has a very low barrier to entry. You could organize your local neighborhood to take action against a policy or against Elon Musk taking over the federal government. There are different organizations in this slide that are doing a lot of the work that you would consider is but they're adjacent to the Democratic Party. These are very important organizations because I think they build the grassroots on how to train. I want to share this, and then I'll send my email because, like I said, over 30 years of working in Arizona Democratic politics, I believe that our strength is understanding each of the lanes that we all contribute, the actions that we want to organize people. I come from an organizing perspective. One of my first trainings was actually in my Catholic church, where they were organizing individuals of a local campaign to raise the minimum wage or a living wage in a school district, for example. And we learned to talk to each other about a shared priority. And that's the background that I bring into politics. If we move into the next slide, I also want to just point out that we're up against a war against the right wing. And we know that we kind of know the similar structure of the Republican Party, the RNC, the Chamber of Commerce, the Americans for Prosperity, or the American Federation of Children that are the funding source behind vouchers in this state. They're funded by DeVos, for example, and their foundations. Millions of dollars come into the state. If you go to the next slide, you have organizations like Turning Point in this state. They spent over $120 million of money that they were able to actually, in their headquarters here in Arizona, but they're actually a C3 and a C4, but they're taking direct action in a very political way. I say they're breaking the law. We have to fight that in a very different matter, but we have to understand what they're doing. The Cato Institute, the Heritage Foundation was the architect of Project 2025. So they were the foundation that were actually writing the policies that are currently being implemented. All these foundations are funded by corporate interests, folks that are really, so when I say that the need for us to understand the challenging terrain, because this is the war of people that are up against our values, against our families, about families that are being separated because of deportation, or federal workers that are ending years of public service. We all have to understand how we must understand the bigger picture in winning this situation. I don't want to end this conversation saying that everything is hopeless. Everything you do every single day, either by talking, if you are able to share a story because somebody you knew got trapped in an immigration situation, if you're able to share a story of a veteran that's being denied their service and what is due to them, share them with your national offices, share them with the organizations here, because that's how we're going to change the hearts and minds of people that are being impacted by this type of government and the war that we're up against. So with that, if I could take 2 questions or a couple questions. Yes, ma'am. Yes, I was.
And it showed that the Republicans didn't do as well fundraising. However, they've got so many outside interests, contributing. Do we have any idea what that dollar amount was in addition to what you mentioned? And then also, do we know how much we get side interests, into the state? There are significant investments on the progressive scale of funders that fund our votes, our vote, or Lucha, for example, or other organizations. But those are limited resources. What they do very well is that they invest in people. They train organizers to organize teams. That money is really hard to account. It's not a public disclosure like you get when the public committee, like the political committees, have to disclose everything, every expenditure and every source of revenue. There is a lot of shady shit that is going on with all these C3s, and especially on the Republican side, there is a lot of money that's being spent. Just the Center for Arizona Policy, for example, which is a very anti-abortion, they've been extremely effective, but they get millions of dollars. The Chambers of Commerce and all these organizations, they have, like Jake Hoffman, he gets paid, our representative, he gets paid about $250,000 a year for his position. Charlie Kirk, he gets paid about $450,000 a year to orchestrate what he's doing, which is, we know where his money's coming from and what he's doing and the motivation that's behind there. I can't answer your direct question, but you're exactly right. Though the Republicans don't have public money that's available and disclosed in their committees, Democrats tend to do a lot better on that. There is a lot of money that is on the other side. Yes, ma'am. Allison.
I've been hearing and seeing a little bit about Working Families Party. Is that, and are you familiar with them?
Yeah.
Because I didn't see.
So the Working Families Party is very strong in the state of New York. They've been able to elect some individuals in partnership with Democratic committees or local. They are more of a mindset of trying to take some parts of the Democratic Party and make it focused on labor and for working families. They're very effective in the state of New York. There are some grassroots here of trying to do the same, of integrating them into the Democratic Party. They haven't filed for a separate party, for example, in the state. The organizing principle there is that they want to make sure that the Democrats are fighting for working families through every fight. So, yep. Thank you.
Thank you, Luis, and thank you for everything that you do. As far as what we have, LD12 has a calendar, and basically all these wonderful events are on the calendar. We have Game Night is back, and Joanne Marcus is the person with that. So that is on February 15th. We also have and let's, as far as the Dems watering hole on February 26th, and our fundraiser, yes, the big square in the table is a fundraiser. I know a lot of you have not gotten your ticket, and that is for Decadent Delights. It is our biggest fundraiser all year, and so I'd like to invite you to Decadent Delights. We've gotten a lot of volunteers. Thank you for all those bakers and candy makers and also volunteers as far as cleaning and everything like that. But the most important thing is to get tickets. So please, if you haven't gotten your ticket yet, please go ahead and get some tickets. There's also tickets for Young Dems. And as you see on the calendar, there's also Young Dems meetings and all sorts of meetings that you can be involved with. I'm sorry. Do you want to know the speaker? One of them. Okay, I can announce it, but I am going to say he is very, let's do a game here, okay? He's very vocal about voting rights. Who do you think this might be? He's very charismatic. Very good, Adrian Fontes. So he will be there at Decadent Delights. We also invited a lot of other people, and we may even have more than one. But right now, he is RSVP'd. So we're excited to invite Adrian. You can ask him all sorts of questions, and he may even play the guitar. Some events he has done that. So we'll see. And he's going to be there early on, so please come early on. Okay, he's not going to be there the whole time, so please come early on. But definitely Decadent Delights supports a lot of different things as far as programming, as far as voting efforts, as far as letters to your neighbors, everything. It also helps as far as the Easter Parade, the float. So definitely come to Decadent Delights. That is February 22nd, and there's a huge QR code to go ahead and buy your tickets. And here you go.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marion. Hi, I'm Lisa Malachowski. I'm on the executive board as well. And it's kind of interesting that I'm doing this part of our presentation because I always also sit on the Greater Phoenix Equality Chamber of Commerce. So I'll give a shout out for that. But we want to spotlight businesses in LD12 that support our values, and we've chosen 2 this month. The first one is one I know very well because I go there every Wednesday and I'm home at 5:15 in the morning and have private Pilates. So we want to spotlight Gabrielle Mazar, who's in the back, and her business Pilates Tempe. I really enjoy it. I'm sure other people do as well. So it's a very, very great Pilates studio. You can do public group Pilates and private Pilates. And I'd encourage you, if you're interested in that type of exercise, to give a shout out to Gabrielle and focus on her business, support her business. Can we have the next one? Yeah, we got it already. And then we have Daniel Meja from Innovative Digital Media. And Daniel's a longtime LD12 person, and he spotlights on R&D for web and graphic design. He doesn't necessarily do the printing part, but he does all the design parts of any kind of project that you have. So you've got his information there, innovativedigitalmedia.com, and we want to welcome Daniel. Thank you very much.
Okay, I just want to remind you about our Bada Bing raffle baskets. If you'd like to purchase your tickets, you can use the QR code. Also, our small business spotlight will be on the back page of all of your agendas. Remember, these agendas are for you to take home with you, just so you can have them for reference.
Oh, okay. Where are my notes? I'm so sorry. Okay, for tonight's call to action, I'd like to welcome Lisbeth Espinosa. She will be sharing some information with us on what to do if you encounter ICE and how to be an effective witness or bystander. Lisbeth has been a volunteer on immigration for the past 20 years. She has helped bring families together who were torn apart at the border during the first term of 45. She works with immigrant shelters on both sides of the border, and she is an LD12 resident. Please welcome Lisbeth.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Okay. So, You're getting ready to do dinner. You stop at Safeway, the one up the street. You walk in, it's 8 o'clock at night, you go in to get a couple things. Then all of a sudden, a storm of ICE, Border Patrol, because they make a lot of ruckus, just storm in. And they grab the 60-year-old worker. They drop him to the floor. They start stomping on him because there's no Miranda rights. And the worker's saying, I have a work permit. I pay taxes. He's screaming. I have my house. I did my kids in ASU. All the law enforcement, Border Patrol, everybody's on top of him. They grab him. You are there watching all this happen. Everybody is in shock and watching. They take him out. And everybody else in the store goes on with their evening. Nobody did nothing. Saturday morning, you're at Kiwanis Park. You're seeing your grandson play Little League, drinking your coffee. Everybody's playing, and all of a sudden a tanker, a military tanker rolls up into the field with all these people, law enforcement with their metralletas, and they grab the coach. They throw him to the floor. The coach is screaming, I'm a US citizen. What the fuck? What are you doing? He's screaming like, I don't speak Spanish. They grab his kids. They throw his 10-year-old, his 12-year-old. And you're there with a cup of coffee like, and all the kids are crying, and these law enforcement, these Border Patrol, these ICE agents don't give a fuck. They don't. The coach is like, don't get my kids, like, remember, he's screaming, saying a US citizen. He's saying, they don't care. There's no Miranda rights. There's no judicial, there's nothing. They take him out. And it all happened right in front of you. And everybody in the stand is just looking at each other like, nobody did anything. The same way nobody did anything to our sisters, our Jewish sisters and brothers, when they were just picked up and taken away, nobody said nothing. So this new administration does not want you. This new administration does not want you to know what you can do. They don't want you to know that you have rights and you can do something about it in that moment. This new administration wants everybody to live in fear. For them, this is comedy. There's no Miranda, there's no judicial court, there's nothing. If you want to know what you can do in that moment, after the meeting's over, it takes about 15, 20 minutes. I have everything set up already. I can tell you what you can do in that moment because it will happen in that moment. It happened yesterday in Guadalupe. I followed the tanker, a military tanker, at 6 p.m. on Avenida Yaqui. So it's very public, on purpose, and in front of your face. So if you want to know what you can do, stay back. I just need 15 minutes and you'll probably save somebody's life.
Thank you so much, Lisbeth. She has all kinds of reference materials for us. So I really encourage you guys to stay and chat with her afterwards. A few other calls to action that we have tonight. We have We will send out her contact information in the "What did you miss" email so that we can still, so we can make sure that everybody gets the information if they can't stay. But we do build in time after the meeting for people to socialize and visit. We do still have some needs here in the LD for volunteers and leads. One of the things that we need is somebody to head up our Dems Give Back. This is our signature community service initiative that we do in LD12. Past work includes park cleanups, supply, clothing, and food drives for local schools and organizations such as Eris Foundation, Go With the Flow, Kyrene Family Resource Center, and Lost Our Home Pet Rescue. We need a leader or a team that can organize quarterly opportunities for our community to give back. If you're interested in that, just reach out to me. Something that's very timely, and I'm sure all of us are feeling the same way, is rapid response and calls to action. One of the things that Lisbeth was talking about is a rapid response thing that we need to know how to do, and we need to be able to empower our people to do those things. I'm sure, like the rest of us, we're all being bombarded with calls, texts, emails, but specifically our board members are being bombarded with calls, texts, emails from the community, from different organizations, with actions that they want us to take. And to be quite honest with you, we're overwhelmed and we don't have the time to go through every call to action, to verify if it's valid or not, to disseminate that information to everybody, and then field questions and things for that. So we really need a team to be able to do that. At least one person that can, at the very minimum, post these calls to action in our Slack channel and make sure that that information is getting out in a timely manner. Like I said, we just have so many that we just don't have the time to try to go through everything and just determine what's the most important, because it's going to be different for everybody. Another opportunity is our letters to the editor writers. Jerry Koppel, who is with us on Zoom tonight, has offered to lead our letters to the editor group. One thing that I learned during the election is that a lot of our community is uninformed or ill-informed about what is going on. And it's important now more than ever for us to be calling out what is happening, to putting communications in our local papers that are widely read. We have the Ahwatukee Foothills News, Tempe Tribune, Chandler Arizonan, or the Chandler Wrangler. People read these papers in our community, and so they're really good opportunities for us to talk about what's happening, to call it what it is, to talk about who's making these things happen, and also highlight what our legislators are doing locally or even at the national level. And so Jerry is going to be hosting a letters to the editor writing camp. It might seem intimidating, but the whole point is to kind of take the fear out of it. She's going to talk about topics, tips, structure, emotion, and provide examples of other letters that have been published already. She is a veteran journalist and she freelances with Times Media Group, which publishes the Ahwatukee News and other community papers. So hold the date for Sunday, March 9th, if that's something that you're interested in. And then really quick, we are creating a blue business directory of local businesses to support. Jerry Robin has graciously offered to take on putting together that document. He's working on it. So if you have a business that you want to include in that, he's in the back here. If he'll raise his hand, you just see him and he will be able to, he's creating this document, and once it's ready to go, we'll make sure everybody has access to it. And then last but not least, we do need regional leads to take the place of a couple that have moved or stepped down. We do need regional leads in Northeast Chandler, which is Bull Moose, Chilton, Comstock, DeSoto, and Mission precincts. North Tempe, which is Hollis, Optimist, and Scudder. And East Tempe, which is Corbell, Redden, and Wagner. The duties of a regional lead are to communicate information and plan sort of localized organizing at the regional level. So our LD is broken up into different regions. Beth Bremer is moving. Nicole Gutierrez Miller is working on the school board, so she's a little busy now. And then Jeff also left. So we do have these openings. So if this is something that you might be interested, there's not a huge time commitment during the off election year. As we get closer to the election, then it ramps up with our communications to the community, calls to actions, volunteer opportunities, and that sort of thing. Okay, Melissa's up next.
Oh, somehow I got two microphones. Here, can somebody take one? Okay. Well, it's that time of year. The Ahwatukee Parade Spring Fling is coming our way. So we're looking for somebody to help us. This is a big event. It's well attended. We need people to help us decorate a float, walk in the parade, and of course, we also need people on the sidelines cheering us on as we go along. With that being said, I've decided to take it a little step further. Next slide, please. Melissa wants a donkey. I really, really want an inflatable 10 feet by 6 feet inflatable donkey. It will make our lives a lot easier. It'll last about 6 to 7 years, so I am fundraising for a donkey. It's going to cost us about $2,000. It's going to look just like that picture. Yeah, $2,000. This thing will last us 6 to 7 years. Do the math. That's pretty good. Just so you know, on average, we spend about $400 on the Easter parade every year. So we'll be able to have this. We'll be able to put some stuff around it. It does have to have, it's not you cannot ride it. You cannot get on it. This is also something that is a great investment for our LD. We can rent it out to other LDs. We could have it at any event. It doesn't just have to be the parade. I said this would have looked really nice in front of the Decadent Delights house. Our holiday parties, people will know where we are. We will be loud and proud. There's the QR code. So this was not part of the LD12 budget when we put our budget together. So one of the questions on the PCs will vote is how much can the LD contribute to Melissa's donkey? And that's what Jeff called. I called Jeff, and he's like, "Are you really calling me about a donkey?" I said, "Yes, I'm calling you about a donkey." So anyways, so we'd like to see if the LD would help do that. Otherwise, I will be fundraising for the whole money because I really think this is important. It's a great investment for the LD. And yes. Oh, yes. Deb has already hit me up. She's like, if you get that donkey, I want to borrow it. LD13 already said something, and LD8 has already reached out because I also put this out to a couple LDs as well to see if this would be something they would be interested in, and they were loving it. We do need a generator or a regular outlet to run it. So in the parade, my dad has a generator that is going to let us borrow it, so we would be able to put it onto the trailer. So this is not an inflatable, so it's not like the Macy's Day. We don't have to hold it down. So we won't float away. But anyways, so the QR codes are on there and on here. And if the PCs would like to help out, that'd be great on my vote. So moving on to the next slide. This is your last chance to buy your Bada Bing raffle baskets. We have our legislators, 2 of our legislators in here tonight. I saw, well, there's one. So I would love for them to come up and give us an update on what's happening at the legislature. I'm sure they have lots and lots of stories.
Hello, gosh, lots of new people here. That's great. Welcome. And I hope you come back again because we got lots of things going on, which you can hear about every time. Lots of fun stuff. So I'm on 3 committees this year. And so it's been keeping me really busy. As a matter of fact, this week I get an extra Health and Human Services Committee and an extra NRU committee. So I'm going to be all week at the Capitol. So it's lots of fun. So some of the things I've been working on are the deed fraud. Some of you know I've been working on that last couple of years. We did get a bill in. Now my name isn't on it, but I still have cheered for it that Representative Gillette put it through. So it's notary bills to add fingerprints to notaries and a fingerprint clearance card, so we know that our notaries are legit and all. So that's something that they put through. But we're really working on some deed fraud bills over there. Those of you who haven't already, and I know I do this every time, but there's some new people here. Maricopa Title Alert is where you want to go to put your property on that alert system, so that if you get somebody doing something with your title or other deed type things, they will alert you. I've been alerted twice. It wasn't me, fortunately, it was somebody else with basically my same name, different middle name. And so I just kind of ignored it. But had it been me, I would want to make sure I can go and take care of that. But people are stealing houses, people are stealing property. We want to make sure we take care of that. I'm putting in a bill, and I just did that actually today, to delay recording of those deeds for 5 days. That way you have a chance, instead of after the fact, to get that alert and then go, and if it's you, you can do something before it gets recorded. Also, along with the deed fraud is I want to opt out from MLS. So if you have a house and you never plan on selling it, you can put on MLS, don't put my name or my address or anything out there ever until you die and somebody else will fix it for you. But it's that's a bill that I'm working on right now too. Let's see. So the Speaker Montenegro has allowed some dem bills to be heard, which is great. One of those is our school lunches, trying to make sure we get school lunches for all the kiddos and all. So that's nice. That's going up. And but we've been fighting some terrible education bills, terrible sex and trans erasure bills, terrible water bills. So we're still trying to fight back on all of those things that you know, the other side seems to think are important. But we're still not getting, you know, affordable housing or water protections or all those kinds of stuff. We're still working on those. Next week is the last week to hear bills. The House will hear the bills through next week, and then there'll be a crossover week, and then we'll be hearing the Senate bills after that. So there have been a lot of rallies and marches at the Capitol. Almost every day, it seems like there's a rally or a march going on. Yes. Come on down, lots of fun, roaming around and marching and all different, you know, there's so much going on right now. You know this. I think that's why we're so full in here today, because people want to know what to do. All I can say is it's great. They've all been peaceful. When you go out to these marches, stay safe, stay peaceful, stay respectful. And, you know, the DPS has been around, but they've let people do their thing, and that's been great. But I saw a few folks out there today. I know Angela was there. My sister was there today, marching around noon today. And it's important that we're seen. It's important that we're heard. I know a lot of people are wondering what to do. And did Luis leave already? You know, I'm getting emails and phone calls from people. What can we do? What can we do? What can we do? You need to call Greg. You need to call Mark. You need to call Ruben's office. Call them in Washington. Call them here in town. Call them, because they're the ones that are going to make a difference with the crazy stuff that's going on in Washington. Let's see. And finally, I have my monthly Brick Road conversations with Contreras will be next Friday. We have it every third Friday from 4 to 6 at Brick Road Coffee. I see my favorite Brick Road Coffee guys over here, Gabe and Jesse. Yes, good to see you. And 4 to 6 p.m. if you want to come by and chat and commiserate. So it's always a lot of fun. Enjoy having you. And here you have Senator Epstein.
Thank you, Rep. Patty Contreras, for everybody who's new. Patty. And I am Mitzi Epstein, your state senator. And so Here's a question for you. How many of you think it'd be great to have expanded paid family and medical leave in Arizona? You think that'd be a nice thing? Let me applaud. Yes, that'd be awesome. How many would you like to have better childcare so more affordable, easier to find, higher quality? All of that would be great. Good for our economy, good for our families, good for our kids. Okay, we can't work on that because we keep having to play defense nonstop. And that's why, you know, I have so many bills that could be helpful, but I have to play, all of us, the Democrats, have to play defense nonstop. And why is it? It's because now they're saying the quiet part aloud. And the loudness is not just aloud, it's like they're screaming it and putting red sirens on it and lights, and we all know it. And what is the quiet part? I'll tell you. The oligarchs are controlling everything. And they are rigging the system against everybody else. And so there was a few years back, I used to think when I was working on education 20 years ago or so, I'd hear, well, they really want the populace to not be educated. That's their goal. That's why they want to defund education and everything else. I was like, yeah, but no, they just want fiscal responsibility. That's all. It's really just that and I was wrong. I was as wrong as I could be, because the truth is that they really do want an uneducated populace that cannot figure out the math, that cannot know how badly the oligarchs are putting their thumb on the system. Because you don't get to have $400 billion like Elon Musk has just from getting money from your close friends who are other billionaires. You get that by stealing out of the pockets of everybody around you, everybody in America and everybody on the planet. And so now that they're saying the quiet part so very loudly, and we all know it's the oligarchs and it's the monopolies, we know that we have to fight triply hard against the little bills that seem innocuous. But wow, it's really just the most powerful trying to take advantage of us again. So I'm in the Finance Committee, and we had a bill again today that would essentially be, if we have a surplus in the budget, which, by the way, we never have a surplus. We always have to pay for other things, and they just say it's a surplus, but then they never pay for anything. So it would be automatic ratchet down of the income tax rate every year, no matter what. So who benefits from that? Well, I'm going to ask the exec board to let me do a little more advanced explanation of why the billionaires pay income tax, and it's about the only tax they pay, and that when they cut the income tax, it helps the billionaires and it doesn't help anybody else. And that's what they keep doing. And that's why they keep playing with the income tax rate, because it helps the billionaires, but not anybody else. And that's what we keep seeing time and time again, more ways to help the billionaires. I will bring a little more information about the Diamondbacks stadium proposal. You know, that's a great example of money for the Kendrick family. The Kendricks own the Diamondbacks, and you know, baseball is terrific. I have friends who have season tickets and they just love it, and baseball is terrific, and I love baseball too. But I don't think that we should have to pay the billionaires to make profits on their team. And this proposal would say that all of the employees in that function, in that district of where the stadium is, everybody who earns any income in there as an employee, all of their income tax goes to the Kendricks to help the stadium. And that's ridiculous. That is just as unfair can be. And we see bill after bill like that is just rigging the system for the billionaires, and we've got to stop it. We've got to stand up and speak up. And in order to know what to say, we need a great education system. So these are all very intertwined, and we are fighting the good fight left and right. If I look a little tired, now you know why. But we're going to keep on fighting this because we've got to, because we can see it. Now we can see it. It's not just a little, oh, they might be doing that. We know it. We know they are rigging the system against us, and we know that we've got to push back on these things and make and understand how it's really working. So I've talked to you about a couple of bills. If you want to know any further, hop on my newsletter and it'll be the great explanation of the week or the month once again. So it's mitziepstein.com if you want to hear more about it. And thank you for your time, and thank you everybody. Look at this great crowd. This is an awesome crowd. Give yourselves a hand.
Thank you, Senator Epstein. Really quick, Representative Travers is actually in Washington, D.C. right now, working with Mark Kelly, Ruben Gallego, and Greg Stanton's offices, trying to figure out how to stop the crazy, quote. Next month, she will have her first legislative coffee and catch up. She will send out an email with the date and time, so be on the lookout for that. And thank you for going out there to try to represent for us here in Arizona. I'm going to give the mic to Melissa. We're going to try to catch up here because we are about 20 minutes behind schedule.
Okay, treasurer report, since again, Joe's not here. And I figured since Mark's so new, I'm trying to get him caught up with the bada bing. We are going to be able to do the raffle. All right. In the month of January, our beginning cash balance was $15,584. We had contributions of $3,628. We paid out $1,371. Ending cash is $17,842. Our cash on hand as of today, this morning, was $18,858. Okay, so we are on track. We're going to be finishing up our budget and our finance to make sure that we are on track to raise enough money to get us through the next election. All right, so next up, we are going to do our bada bing raffle right after what? Oh, right after that, we're going to do, keep skipping. Any new business. So if you have any new business and you want to give a 1-minute update, right after we do the raffle, we're going to have you guys come up here so that you can speak. Oh, all right. So maybe we should we wait a minute? Somebody's going to, okay. Yeah. And then Susie, can you make sure Mark can share his screen? Thank you all for sticking around. Yep. Because I know there's quite a few people that have reached out to me for new business. Oh, Watering Hole Wednesday is going to be at a different location this month. It's going to be at Pita Jungle. Which one? Abatuki. Over on Ray Road. Okay. Can you? All right. Oh, okay. So I can't read that. We sold how many tickets? I'm going to have to go over to Mark. We sold 546. That's total between the two, right? Okay. How many of the one basket? So we sold 218 tickets for basket number 1, which is this one. Coming up red. All right. Yeah, you want me to remember that? That was like 2 seconds ago. 218. Thank you. I was like, somebody else remember that number. Okay, ticket number 17. So if you bought your tickets early, let's go to that spreadsheet. Ticket number 17 is Sherry Johnson, right? Okay, we sold 328 for the second basket. I can't get too close to the speaker. Ticket number 111. Oh my gosh, Gavin Lee. Gavin Lee is the winner of the second basket. Congratulations. Sherry, you gonna keep time? So Sherry's gonna keep time. Oh, it's right there. And then you'll come up here, stand here. She'll keep time. You get 1 minute.
Yep. All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Ricardo Villafan. I am a member of the IBW, Local 640. I'm also the second vice chair for LD24. So I drove all the way over here after class with a messed up foot to make an announcement that I'm chair of the ADLC. Well, there is a Democratic Latino caucus. We're starting that up again. Obviously, with what's going on with the immigrant attacks, deportations and everything, we really want to make sure that we re-engage our Latino voters. We bring them back everywhere in the state because this is going to be a hectic 4 years, but we can always flip that in the next 2 years because we got to save Katie Hobbs, Adrian Fontes, Chris Mace, right? So if you guys want to help out with the Latino caucus, feel free to reach out to me. We plan on having our first meeting next month, and we have a lot of things planned out. So yeah, please reach out to me. I want to get all of you guys on board. The more Democrats on board, the better. So thank you for having me.
Hi, my name is Lisa Santo. I am a PC in Sandia, and I have a friend named Clarice Wisely, and she wrote a book called Letters from Dachau, A Father's Witness to War, A Daughter's Dream of Peace. Her father was an anesthesiologist in World War II, and he stumbled on a building. They didn't know what it was, and it was Dachau concentration camp. So he was one of the first ones to open the door, and he was locked in there with other physicians trying to help the people to get well. Well, he was horrified by what he saw. And the way he dealt with this is he wrote a letter to his wife every single day. His daughter found those letters after he died and wrote a book. She's going to be here March the 4th at 6 p.m. And if you're interested in her presentation, which is free, we will send you an email with my email address, and you send it to me, and we will give you the information. Thank you.
Just really quick, using my other hat with Senator Kelly's office, I just want to point you to a website that the Senate Democrats have established, democrats.senate.gov, whistleblowers. If you could share that, if there are agencies or issues that need to be heard. We've heard that the administration's cut all the inspector generals and even the Office of Ethics in Government. So they have established that the Senate Democrats have established this. I also want to highlight that Tassi Gulber's confirmation vote is Tuesday. There will be multiple Democrats on the floor of the Senate, and then Robert Kennedy is also on the schedule for Thursday. There's a possibility that Democrats are trying to run the clock, that there could be some stop, but the vote might be delayed, but they have the votes to actually pass these nominations. So I just want to highlight that if you can amplify the votes, the messages that are coming out either on Twitter, on Facebook, and other things about these particular two confirmations. Thank you.
Okay, everybody stick with me. Ignore the shirt that I have on, act like it doesn't exist. The words don't exist. It's just a blue shirt, right? I want everyone this is gonna be very interactive in the 54 seconds that I have. I'd love for everyone to point to their pockets if you can, please. Your pockets. Point to your pockets, yes. And then I would love for everyone to point to their mouth. Okay, wonderful. Raise your hand if you are looking to invest in young people, young Democrats, more specifically. Raise your hand if you want to invest in young Democrats. That's not enough. There we go. As you know, my name is Armonee Jackson. I'm the president of the Young Democrats of Arizona. We are having our first convention, and I don't know how long, on April 12th. And with that, it does take money. So if you are looking to invest in young Democrats, please go to ydaz.org, $5 if you have it. Invest in young people so that we can develop young leaders to eventually become elected Democrats. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Arlene Shin, and I'm currently serving on the Tempe City Council, and I'm seeking reelection. Thank you. If you are a registered Tempe voter, I noticed they were from Tempe. I was paying attention, and there are a few back there. If you are a registered Tempe voter, I need your help by getting on the ballot by signing my petitions. There are two people you've been admiring their shirts tonight, Joanne and Janet. I've seen you admiring from afar. See them, they have my petitions, and I'd love for your help. Thank you all.
Oh, sorry. Hi, everyone. Franklin Zyrek, PC in Campbell Park. Not exactly a political announcement. I'm in Tempe Leadership. My class project for Tempe Leadership Class 40, we're raising money for Lost Our Home Animal Rescue. We're having a trivia fundraiser on Friday, March 7th at 7 p.m. at Boondocks. $15 per person ahead of time, $20 at the door. I'll post all this in Slack and send an email to the folks so we can get that out, and just hope for your support for a good cause that's a little more cheerful than all of what we've been talking about tonight. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I am Judge Kissel. I'm the judge for the University Lakes Justice Court. I'm currently, oh, thank you, Janie. I'm currently up for re-election. My petition's over there. If you live in the city of Tempe, you may be in my district. I'm happy to talk to you. I did want to mention briefly about what Proposition 314 did to the justice courts. We are now prorogued into being immigration courts. Nothing we ever planned for, nothing we ever wanted. As an organization, we are currently figuring out what that looks like for us going forward. But what we've done, what I've been able to do as chair of technology, is to make many ways for people to appear and participate. People to appear and participate by never actually having to enter our courtroom doors. We've set up a robust virtual courtroom so that individuals who come who are concerned about whether or not they get to leave there again, they have other ways to appear, which means they don't get a warrant for their arrest. They don't have to change how they live their lives. They fundamentally can still function because fundamentally, the goal of the Justice Court across the board is access to justice. You've entrusted me to do this for the last 10 years now. I'm now the old man in my building, believe it or not. I hope to be able to continue to do this and continue to bring justice to the people. I just ran out of time.
If Tyler's the old man, I don't know what I am because I'm older. I'm Sharon Sauls, and I'm the judge of the Kyrene Justice Court, right along with Tyler. Thank you. I want to start with a story, guys. I have two children. They're near perfect children. They're both in the Barrett Honors College at ASU. My son is dating a girl whose heritage is from Ghana and Nigeria. My daughter just got an exchange student as a classmate. She's from Malaysia. My kids have to worry about whether their roommate or their girlfriend can be deported. And I think that's a sad place to be. My daughter's roommate came in about a month ago and sat my daughter down and asked her, what's safe? Where can I go? Where shouldn't I go? Is this okay? That's what my kids have to talk about with their classmates. I want to share with you folks, there's a lot of folks who got my petitions. You guys were kind enough to collect signatures. I have self-addressed stamped envelopes, so you guys don't have to worry about getting them back to me. If you like these envelopes, I have this for you. That's about it. Okay.
Hi, my name is Jerry Robin. As Sherry mentioned earlier, I'm actually building the business directory for LD12, and I'm actually building a database, and I would love here. I want that 15 seconds back. I went through this at the state committee meeting too. Nobody ever gives me all the time I want. That's much better. Thank you. Anyway, so I'm building this business directory, and as Sherry mentioned, I definitely want anybody who's gotten, there must be in this room tons of people who have small businesses that they would like to promote. Please come back and afterwards and talk to me about it. I'll give you my information so you can share the information about your business. We're also going to need volunteers to help with just things like data entry and stuff like that, depending. Hopefully this thing will get pretty big, and we'll need, a whole team of people just editing the entries. That'd be wonderful. So I'm hoping that, please come back if you either have a business you want to share or if you want to help out, that'd be fantastic. And also, I just want to say one thing that this really struck me. I saw this online the other day. There's so much going on in the world. The world is blowing up around us, and we're worrying about, oh, let's have a small business directory. It seems so trivial in the grand scheme of things, but I want to read something here real quickly. Somebody wrote, it's very hard to maintain mental health because so many coping strategies are based on the idea that your anxiety is unwarranted. And right now, we need more of a feeling of, okay, your anxiety is extremely warranted, but you still got to water the plants or you'll have fascism and dead plants. So just remember that. Thank you.
Hi, I just wanted to remind you that there is our constable here, Bridget. Bridget's at every meeting here helping. And so make sure that you sign her petition. She is going to win the election. She is going to win it with you and your help and your signatures tonight. So before you leave, if you live in the Ahwatukee area, make sure you sign Bridget's.
And you can take a blank one if you'd like to help us get signatures, because there's plenty back there. So thank you. Thanks, Marion.
Is that a new clock? Is that a new one? Hello. That's my clock. Hey, how you guys doing? I'm Cedric Collins. Some of you know me, some of you don't. I missed last month's meeting. I had some personal family stuff I had to take care of, but I just want to say thank you for everyone who helped me get elected to the Kyrene School Board. It was an amazing day, you know, and just thank you for your confidence and your support, and you won't regret your choice. Now, on voting, I need your help one more time for a couple of months, if you don't mind. Many of you know I'm an educator, and I don't know how it happened, don't ask me, but I was actually nominated for America's Favorite Teacher. So, starting February 24th, there will be voting like every day. Y'all know the little Facebook voting. You don't have to pay for the votes. I got people that's gonna pay for the votes. But if you could vote every day for the free votes, I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you.
Send me the, what?
I forgot to announce, Chandler Unified School District is facing major attacks by the right-wing folks over there. So if you are able to show up to Chandler Unified School District's governing board meeting on Wednesday at 7, please join us to speak out in support of public education, of teachers, staff, the board, students. I don't know if you guys saw on the news, but they had protesters with vile, hateful, terrible signs outside of their school last week. And so we just need to be there in force to show our support.
All right. I want to thank Bridget and Peter to working on our audio visual. This was the first one. We didn't get it all right, but we'll try again. And I also want to thank Chris Pilgrim. She's going to help the LD with bylaws. She's going to be our bylaws chair. So if you have any information or need bylaw changes, she's going to help us be that person. I'm going to go ahead and close the meeting. Please make sure you push in your chairs, take all the stuff. Let's leave the room better than we found it. Thank you very much. So moved.